Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear Governor Perry, it is a pleasure to join you today at the closing event of the 2022 G20 Tech Sprint. Since its launch 2 years ago, the G20 Tech Sprint initiative has showcased the potential of new technologies to address financial sector issues of importance to regulators and central banks. This long-form hackathon significantly advanced the development of technological solutions in SupTech and RegTech in 2020 and Green Finance last year. The topic of this year's edition, Central Bank Digital Currency or CBDC, is relevant across the globe. Many central banks are working hard on CBDC and making good progress. 4 retail CBDCs have already gone live. Pilots are underway in 29 jurisdictions, and 72 central banks have communicated publicly about their CBDC work. It is no exaggeration to say that CBDC is also central to our work here at the BIS. Since money is the core concern of central banks, and central banks are the BIS's key stakeholders, we have a mandate to be ahead of these developments, both in terms of policy as well as practical aspects. On the policy side, our researchers are working on several fronts, including the design and macroeconomic implications of CBDCs. BIS-hosted committees and associations collaborate with central banks and academia to push the boundaries of our knowledge and inform the policy debates. In our latest BIS annual economic report, we laid out a vision for the future digital monetary system that adapts to serve society. It combines new digital capabilities such as programmability, composability, and tokenization with the safety, stability, and accountability of central bank money. Central banks remain at the core of the system, providing a foundation of trust for services by the private sector, built around central bank money. The blend of new technologies and central bank money takes the form of CBDCs. In our vision, the future monetary system would have 3 components. First, wholesale CBDCs for transactions between central banks and financial institutions. Second, retail CBDCs and fast payment systems for the public. And third, multi-CBDC arrangements to enable cross-border operations. All this belongs to the realm of policy. The Innovation Hub is the lab charged with putting these ideas into practice. We are rolling up our sleeves and working with other central banks and the private sector to build innovative solutions to the challenges posed by CBDCs. On wholesale CBDCs, our Swiss center has explored how central banks could offer settlement in central bank money in a future with more tokenized financial assets. We learned that it is possible to integrate CBDCs into existing core banking systems, and that central bank can play a key role in systems based in distributed ledger technology or DLT. In our Hong Kong, London, and Stockholm centers, we're exploring retail CBDC. One key aspect is their offline use, which is important for users in remote areas or whenever internet access is disrupted. We are also exploring how to distribute retail CBDC through an open API ecosystem and what the technical implementation of a cyber-secure 2-tier retail CBDC architecture would look like. On multi-CBDC arrangements, the BIS Innovation Hub has been working in Switzerland, Hong Kong, and Singapore with central banks on several concrete prototypes of using CBDCs across border. These share the goal of reducing cost and increasing the speed of international payments for trade and remittances compared with today's system of correspondent banking. These experiments demonstrate that common platforms with 2 or more wholesale CBDCs are technically feasible. This would allow for lower costs, faster settlement, and increased operational transparency. More recently, we also started to examine the technological feasibility of interlinking different domestic retail CBDC systems. This could enable the use of CBDCs in international retail and remittance payments. Yet many questions remain. Further experimentation and initiatives like TechSprint can help make further progress on the questions ahead. This year's G20 Tech Sprint has been instrumental in scanning the technological universe around 3 essential I's for CBDC: issuance, inclusion, and interoperability. Building effective and robust means of issuing, distributing, and transferring CBDCs is a crucial step in making CBDCs work in practice. Enabling financial inclusion and making sure that solutions work for all is a necessity. Improving interoperability is a top area of investigation to fully harness the potential for CBDCs to enhance cross-border payments. Many of the projects in this year's Tech Sprint investigated these challenges, and the solutions proposed by the winners help us refine the hub's contribution in the CBDC space. They also show how public-private partnerships can help the monetary system to advance supporting the public interest and sustainable innovation. I want to thank the Indonesia G20 presidency and Bank Indonesia for the strong support and partnership in co-hosting this year's G20 Tech Sprint. I would also like to thank the eminent panel of judges and the invited experts for their support for this initiative and efforts to select the winning teams. And finally, none of this would have been possible without the excellent work and dedication of the winners. Thank you very much.